I need to adjust the volume first. Because for some reason this is like giga loud for no reason. Unless... Yeah, that's fine. Hello, Dianera. How are you? This should be interesting. I agree. Also, what did you send me earlier today on Discord? What was that? Why'd you sound so emo? My bad. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say. I guess for now, let's continue, though. I wonder if there's going to be any tips in this chapter 8. I don't know. I just keep seeing LTG. I see. Oh. Welcome. Welcome to the world of Higurashi, chapter 8, Matsuribayashi. In this role, you'll be able to recreate the story from Hanyu's point of view. Your objective is to create the June 1983 ideal to you. You will need to collect many different fragments to make that possible. However, Takano's conviction is very strong. To overturn it, you'll need a lot of effort and a lot of fragments. I'll warn you right now, it'll be a slow and painful process. Hanyu went through it for over 100 years, and she even had to stop and give in to fate. Defeating Takano's conviction will not be easy. The trial in this world will put you through as much pain as Hanyu had to endure. You may surrender, just like Hanyu did, after being emotionally worn down by the constant repetition of the worlds woven by countless fragments. When you feel like surrendering, you can end this game at any time. But if you do, the worlds revolving around you, around your friend's fate, will be limited to Onikakushi or Minagoroshi. And, okay, so just 1 through 7, basically. Okay. By forgetting about this world and uninstalling this product, you will finally accept death. Just like Rika did. Your ideal June 1983 can be created by putting together 50 fragments that are scattered all over this world. To connect these fragments together, you will need the right ones. There are 50 of them, which may be dizzying. However, this world isn't that merciless. To ease your pain, there will be a little help for you. When you choose the wrong pieces, your only ally here will give you a sign that it's not yet time to put those fragments together. As long as the sign remains, you won't be able to connect them. You might as well go look for different ones. After you put other fragments together, you might be able to connect the ones you couldn't put together earlier. Wait, is this actually, like, not gonna be a linear story? Are we gonna have to, like, actually put in input? I am not mentally ready for that yet. I was expecting just another, like, just click through the story. When that happens, she'll let you know. Let's put those fragments together. Then you'll be able to join the other ones, too. I have to, like, turn my brain on a bit more, then. Or, like, turn my brain on a lot, actually. When you connect all 50, they'll become one big fragment. There you'll find your ideal June 1983. That's when the long-awaited Matsuribayashi will begin. Before you peek at each fragment, why don't you line up all 50 of them first? Most of them require other fragments, so there are only a few you can actually look at. Let's try to find those first. To see the conditions for connecting fragments, just point the cursor at... Wow! Okay, we actually are! Before anything else, let's find the ones you can look at without any conditions. You're tasked with creating an entire... Wow, okay. This will be an extremely long and difficult trial. Let me tell you again. Hanyu challenged this for over 100 years and gave up on it. If you believe in miracles the same way your friends do, even if you don't live in the world where they live, if you believe in them, welcome. Welcome to the world of Higurashi Chapter 8, Matsuribayashi. What does that mean, Dianea? That you remember. In this world, you'll be tested to see if you believe in the world that Rika and the others believed in. A miracle only happens when everyone combines their strength. Gameplay, I see. Gameplay 160 hours in. Whoa, crazy. Okay, but Dianea, I could understand with you saying for the first 7 chapters that Higurashi is not a game. But you cannot have completed chapter... If this is like what I'm thinking it's going to be, there's no way you can complete chapter 8 and not say this is a game, right? This looks like gameplay to me. June 1983, created by Takano, is nearly indomitable. She's gathered many people whose powers are beyond the average person to her side, her backers being at the center of national authority. Even if 100 dice all rolled ones, there wouldn't even be a chance to defeat her. In other words, a miracle is the only way forward. A miracle happens only when everyone combines their strength, and you are one of them. Are you ready? I'm more than ready. The key to a long journey is not to pressure yourself too hard. Well, let's take it at a light pace. It's so disproportionate that it hardly matters. I think it's enough to say that it classifies as a game. I'm more than ready. The key to a long journey is not to pressure yourself too hard. Well, let's take it at a light pace. I'll work while drinking my usual wine. Wait, so is this Rika talking to us? Shall we begin? We have all the time in this world. So, you can't lose, right? So I can make as many mistakes as possible, but I won't lead to, like, a bad ending or something like that. You have obtained new fragments. Okay, let's save. Right here. Connecting fragments. Okay, what the hell? What do we do? Okay, what do we do? So, do I just click on one? 7 fragments are required. Fragments from the Higurashi chapter is required. Build chapter 8, okay. A raw sea urchin, vitamin A are required. A big teddy bear is required. She needs moral support. Read them, okay. The game board must be set up. Okay. Okay, this is gonna be wild. Whoa, okay. Let's just start from the first one. Chapter C-103 Dose Experiment. Satoko Hojo's detailed test results is required. Kyosuke Irie's decision is required. Okay, let's start from the first one. This fragment can't be connected yet. Okay. Oh, and it breaks. Wait, did I mess up something? Required. Okay, I need to find what's not required then. This fragment is required first. Okay. Let's do this then. This fragment is required first.
いやー、遅くなって申し訳ございません。今日はどういうわけか、患者さんが多くて。お疲れ様です、入江兄さん。
Tomitake stood up suddenly and saluted when he saw Irie come into the room. He's just telling you that he already tried it and you can't connect it later, no problem. Okay.
私は医者です。どうもその軍隊的な階級には馴染めません。せめて所長でお願いします。了解しました、入江所長。
Tomitake, of course, knew that Irie didn't like to be called Lieutenant Colonel, so it was something of a joke. They laughed casually together. You do have to pay attention to know what you can connect. Makes sense, okay. On the other hand, Takano looked rather fed up with it. She couldn't stand hearing the same joke over and over again, and was even thinking about talking to Tomitake over it. Okay. But she didn't want to hurt his feelings, so she simply never had the chance. Okay. You didn't like to be called, so it was something of a joke. Okay. Maybe it's because of how Tomitake pronounces it, but she kept hearing Risa. Lieutenant Colonel in Japanese, Nisa. Okay. Once she heard it that way, she kept hearing Irie Risa every time Tomitake said it. When Takano told Irie about it, he had a good laugh. Today was just a simple meet and greet, and tomorrow was the actual meeting. Tomitake had already arrived, but there would be more inspectors from Tokyo at the meeting, waiting to hear about the progress that had been made. Gameplay jump scare. Yeah, it literally is game. I have never paid attention this hard in Higurashi before.
それはそうと、
ダムのことで村中が盛り上がってるみたいですね。
ええ、それはもう村中大変な騒ぎですよ。私も役員
How
と
was
し
it
て
like for you,
自治
Diana,
体の
seeing
地
this
元
for the
説明
first
会に
time?
参加してき
What,
た
what
ので
was
すが、
like? What was
女
your
性
reaction
と罵
to
声
it?
のそれはもう賑やかな説明会となりま
The
した。
gameplay jump scare. Okay, so they're talking about the dam here. After the basic Hinamizawa Dam project was announced, the village was consumed with uproar. The government retracted their plans for concessions rather early on. They made their aggressive stance clear. They didn't want the locals to take advantage of them by showing their willingness to compromise. However, that backfired horribly. As they had historical ties to the land, the government actions only made their bonds stronger. Neither the government nor the locals wanted to back down.
ひなみ沢の人は気性が激しいですも
Okay,
の
so
ね。
they're just talking about the dam project. Okay. So far, it's just been Tomitake joke, Takano commenting about like how she hates that joke so much, and then they're now just talking about the dam project. Okay.
やっぱり鬼の血が流れてるからなのかし
We
ら。
haven't seen any new information.
笑い事じゃないですよ。あの説明会に夜中まで付き合わされた方の身にもなってみてください。
それはお気の毒でしたね。
Surplus and I did the same fragments at the same time. Ah, okay.
いや、本当に笑い
Did
事で
you,
はな
did
いです
you
よ。
and Surplus have your like messages back and forth of like when the gameplay stuff happened? Like, what did you guys write to each
ダ
other?
ム計画はどうなってるんですか？本当にこの村はダム湖に沈められてしまうんですか？
それについては東京の方でも圧力をかけています。表向きは騒ぎになっていますが、実際の裏方
Also,
では
how
か
long
なり
is
屋台骨が
each
ぐらついているはずです。
fragment? How long is each fragment? Is it about the length of tip? Like a tips thing, or is it about the long as a segment from normal Higurashi?
その圧力が早く効くといいんですがね。村は朝から晩まで賑やかで、村人の心もこのところすさんできたように思います。診察に来るお年寄りに捕まって、たっぷりと反ダム論争を聞か
Fragments
さ
are
れる時があり
specific
ます
events
よ。
are as long as tips. Okay.
付き合わなければいいのに。入江所長は人がいいから。
That's why there haven't been any. Makes sense. Okay.
そうもいきません。私は研究所の所長である以前に、診
So are
療所の所
tips
長でも
maybe
ありま
meant to
す。
just be like fragments in the world, like other fragments?
話を聞くのもケアの一環ですので。
それはとても良いことです。感服いたします。
私は東京の皆さんがうまく圧
You
力をかけ
probably
て
are.
くれ
Yeah.
て、
Okay.
いずれはダム計画を撤回してくれるものと分かっているからいいですが、村人にとっては先祖代々から住んできた土地を追い出されかねないと本当にすごい騒ぎです。
立ち
They're
退けと
essentially
言
just
われて
physical
も
manifestations of
引っ
timelines
越
to
せ
higher
るほどのお
beings.
金
Okay.
もなく、若さもなく。
So we're meant to be higher beings? Yeah, okay, in this situation. Okay. Vote to leave. Okay.
立ち退き保証金の額の釣り上げが狙いだったのかもしれないけど、急にお役所の態度が変わっちゃって
Inverse
全面衝突。
Yeah, your purple void detached from reality. Okay.
こうなってしまったら穏便に決着というのは無理かもしれませんわね。
かつては保証金に納得して立ち退きに応じようという人たちも少しはいたんですが、
Like the narrator that talks to you. Yeah, okay. Maybe Ryukishi is the highest being of them all since he created the world.
御三家の園崎家が強硬意見で村人をリードしてましてね。
Okay,
国
so
との
yeah,
対
that's like
決姿勢を
the
煽っているよう
the
なんです。
Hojo household.
凱旋者みたいなのがよく騒がしくしてますし、ビラやらチラシやら機関紙やらが回覧板と一緒によく回ってきますよ。
ここに住む人にとっては大変な問題ですからね。 気持ちはわからなくもありません。
そういう意味では思惑は多少違うかもしれませんが、そんな皆さんのためにもこのダム計画は早く撤回になるよう交渉を進めてほしいものです。撤回されればこの村もすぐに落ち着きのある
So, okay,
元の
right
村
now,
に戻
it
るで
just
しょうか。
seems like information we've known before. The only difference is we get, like, their point of view of the dam project.
もちろんわかってます。
But it's like, a lot of this is just
そ
information
れ
we
については
know
東
already.
京の方で交渉を進めておりますので、もうしばらく私どもにお任せください。
Okay, yeah, and then Tokyo intervenes to stop the dam project from going
東
off.
京の方で噂を聞いたんですけれど、建設省の方になかなかうまく圧力をかけられるコネクションがなくて苦労してるとか。
Yeah, that's what I understand.
Yeah.
It's like, we're basically, like, because I'm guessing in every single timeline, there are good events that happened and bad events that happened. And we need to choose all the good events that take place in every single chapter that we've gone up to until now. And, yeah,
私ごときでは詳しくは知りませんが、
we're just
水
basically,
面下
like,
調整がうまくいっていない
splicing
の
our
で
own
はという
timeline
話
together.
も少し聞きます。
Takano had powerful people supporting her, but they didn't control all of Japan. There are some things they excelled in, but also some things they weren't too good at. Finding a way to put pressure onto the Minister of Construction fell into the latter.
冗談抜きでダムができますからここを立ち退いてくださいなんて話には本当にならないんですわよね。
もちろんです。
Yeah, very
それ
interesting.
だけは絶対に問題ありません。時間がかかっているだけですので、皆さんはどうかそこは任せて、穏便に済ませることができない場合は、最終的な荒領事も辞さないことで意見はまとまっておりますので。
荒領事とは何ですか、富武さん。
そこは我々の領分です。入江所長は気にどうかお任せください。
Okay, drastic, and they did take drastic measures. Okay.
わかりました。
And that's why they couldn't tell Edie. Oh, okay. For when they kidnapped. That's so weird, though. That's such a weird dynamic going on. They kidnapped the kid to pressure the minister, but they couldn't tell Edie, even though it's for Edie's sake. That's really
よろ
funny.
しくお願いいたします。
大丈夫ですわよ、入江所長。ダム計画は
Obviously not only for
絶対に
Edie's
撤回さ
sake,
れま
but
すわ。
it basically is.
だってそう決まっているんですもの。
As Takano giggled, Tomitake laughed too. However, Edie couldn't understand what was so funny, so he felt left out. Edie only understood the meaning of those drastic measures when he examined a young boy he had never seen in the village before. Okay. Okay. So. What did we learn? I guess we'll have to see. Okay. Dam construction operation withdrawal. The Queen Carrier must be willing to participate. I don't know what that means. Repetitive apologies are required. Satoshi Hojo's sister must refuse his visit at the... Okay, no. So, nothing with Satoshi yet. Execution order for the 30th curse is required. Declaration order for Kurado Oishi is required. So, we have no research results. Research need to have hit its first snag. Instruction for kidnapping operations of grandson is required. A bat to beat her to death is required. Repetitive apologies are required. No. Discontinue Satoko. No. No. 30 years curse of Oishido songs are. No. Discussions required. The Queen Carrier must be willing to participate. No. Live specimen for research is required. A tragedy at the dam construction site is required. No tragedy. We're just talking about the dam. There's no tragedy, no nothing. The kidnapping has happened, but that's it. Death of the construction. Nope. Rika's father being marked as an opportunist is required. Rika's mother's suspicion is required. No. Death of Satoko's aunt is required. No. None of these. Kyosuke Irie's reminiscence? He's not reminiscing on anything. Oh, this fragment is required first. Okay. Then I guess I'll do that. And this fragment is also required first. Okay. Let me go through all the ones that are required first. You can start with many, I see. Okay. Koizumi-sensei? Who was Koizumi-sensei? Oh, okay. It was Takano, the backer for Takano. Death of the dam construction site manager is required. I'm just gonna go through and, like, read what's required for everything. A bottle of wine for a toast is required. Hirotome Take's promise is required. The draft of an emergency manual is required. This fragment. Okay, so this is first, and this is first. Okay. Conflict with the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family is required. Self-introduction of Satoko Hojo is required. Oh, and Satoshi is also required first. Okay, so these two are also required first. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Part-time job. Footsteps following. Discussing what we thought. Oh, okay. Become Satoko's shopping trip is required. So, shopping trip. Priest contacting the Idia Institution. Rock candy. The test results. Awareness of his sins? Forgiveness of Rena Ryugu. He sat on a veranda being put away is required. Satoshi Hojo's awareness of his sins. Ryugu family's move. Family move. Watermelon. Mysterious death of the food couple. Okay. There's a couple things I need to wait. Oh, this is also required first. Okay. Well. So, 1, 2. Right? There's no other ones that are required first? Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then none of these. The game board must be set a fragment from Watanagashi. Yeah, all these are like completely just blanketed out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then this is the last one. Okay, let's go through. So, dam construction operation withdrawal. This was talking about like the dam construction and like all about that stuff and their worries about the dam construction being canceled and all that stuff. But you know, I guess mainly Irie. Takano and Tomitake knew that it wasn't actually going to be canceled. Let's go to Kyosuke Irie. Group physical exams are very meaningful for our research. Although it's only for certain age groups, we can examine many of the Hinamizawa residents at the same time. The perfect cover for our research center. Examine many of the Hinamizawa residents at the same time. Okay. Also, because of several arrangements, we have a monopoly on the villagers' corpses and can perform autopsies on them too. There certainly was an environment this rich in opportunity for those in the medical field. Our follow-up on the work of the late Dr. Takano is going smoothly. The amount of data he compiled is absolutely astounding. He really was an incredible researcher.
失礼します、所長。
ああ、高野さん、お疲れ様です。
先ほど東京から残りの検査結果が郵送されてきました。こちらに置きますわね。
ありがとうございます。いよいよ面白くなってきましたね。
この面白さを共有できてとても嬉しいですわ。
Takano-san is my assistant, who was sent from the self-defense force. But she's far from the image I have of an SDF officer. Just like our research is being concealed, maybe her identity is concealed too. I'm sure her name is in a alias as well. I'm just a doctor and a researcher. Without Takano-san's support, it would be impossible for me to manage this institution. Since she's a pipeline to her clients in Tokyo, my assistant, as well as a researcher who's an expert on Hinamizawa syndrome, Her existence is absolutely necessary here. The more I think about it, the more I feel like this should have been the Takano Institute rather than the Irie Institute, and she should have been the director. But that was explained to me when they asked me to take this position. My client wanted a civilian to manage this place. They searched for a person who met their requirements, and there I was. I became the director. I have a feeling I'm just a puppet on their strings, but I won't sit here and do nothing. I was asked to research a rare disease. I am a researcher, so of course I'm excited about that. My client's goals might be different, but I'm just here out of the desire to unravel the mysteries of Hinamizawa syndrome, and be the first person to uncover a new mystery for mankind.
ひなみ沢症候群という寄生虫感染症がほぼ間違いなく存在するという浮かし彫りの情報はいくらでも集まるのに、原因となる病原体が発見できないのはとても悔しいですね。
そうですわね。電子顕微鏡を使えばあっさりと見つかるだろうという期待も少しはしてい
So
たもので。
basically it's saying that Irie is suspicious of the people backing him and everything. Takano, Tokyo, everything. And he feels like he is being controlled, but he still feels like he has to do something. Viruses are too small to see with a regular microscope, so the invention of the electron microscope was a dramatic advancement in the world of medicine. However, it's very expensive and there's no way for a normal doctor to acquire one. The late Dr. Takano said an electron microscope could find the cause of the disease, but it seems his theory has been proven wrong. Even Takano-san was hoping an electron microscope would find it. Why'd you put jabasted? She was disappointed when she didn't uncover anything after all the autopsies she's performed. Our research seems to have been its first snag. And it's actually stalled our... Okay, wait. Research having its first snag. That's something. Okay, we can look for that. And it's stalled for several weeks now. So we need to think about where to
と
go
な
from
ると
here.
極小の極小なのか、あるいは検体そのものに問題があるのかもしれません。
と申しますと、
例えばですが、野生のネズミの体に多数のノミが寄生していることはご存知と思います。
We're actually thinking... I told you, I'm locking in for this!
ですが、ネズミの死体を調べたところでノミを見つけることはできません。宿主が死んだ時点で寄生虫であるノミの生活基盤も崩壊するからです。
宿主が死ねば
Okay.
寄生虫にとってそれは地球が滅んでしまうのと同じことというわけですわね。
So wild mice have tons of fleas on them, but you can't find fleas on dead mice. Because when the mouse dies, their habitat dies as well. Okay, that's fair. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
そう
Okay.
です。滅びた後の地球を
So
調
they're
べて
trying to
も
say they want a live assist, like a live research sample.
ということは、滅ぶ前の地球を調べればよいという話になりますわね。
そうですね。ただ、滅ぶ前の地球には人権があります。生きているうちに調べることは難しいでしょう。
Examining a live human's brain, no matter how you sugarcoat it, that bore grave, very grave meaning. From a medical standpoint, it's necessary. We have rules and morals in this world, and we have to advance medicine within such boundaries. There was a time when I was studying lobotomies for the betterment of mankind. Yeah, so you did study lobotomies, EDA. Yeah, I don't think people are, like, nobody, no. I don't think I was wrong. I think you might have been, but okay. However, could I ever be forgiven under our ideas of ethics? I don't know. One day my judgment will be handed down by the devil. Whether I'm guilty or not, I have to accept it. As I reflected upon my past, I heard a voice. It was Takano's. It was very clear and simple. Yet, it struck me with surprise.
わか
He
り
a
ました
lobotomy lord. Well, we knew that he did perform lobotomies before. Like that's why he was ostracized from the community. But this is the very first time that the actual word lobotomy was used. But they just explained what a lobotomy was every other time.
滅ぶ前の地球を用意させましょう。
え
I'm startled. Sometimes the phrase advancing medicine bore the whisper of the devil, tempting us to accept sacrifices. So this is Takano basically saying that she's gonna start the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I heard that devil whisper.
そんなに難しいことではありませんわ。ひなみ沢の住民で、すでに重篤の状態で市内病院に入院しており、いつ死んでもおかしくない患者を探させるだけですもの。
しかし、いくら余命いくばくとはいえ、自らの体を生きているうちに検体に差し出される勇気のある方がいらっしゃるでしょうか。
そんな必要はありませんわ。いずれ亡くなる方にほんの少し早くお休みいただくというだけの話ですわ。書類上ね。
The patient would be legally declared dead even if they were still alive. And we'd perform an autopsy while they're still alive.
無理でしょう。第一、頭蓋を切開するような大手術となれば、絶対に痕跡は残ります。遺体を遺族の方が見られたら不審に。
そういうところを何とかできるのが山犬に至急条件を満たす患者が存在しないか市内病院を調べさせます。先生はお皿の前でナイフとフォークをお持ちになって待っているだけでいいんですわ。すぐに料理をお持ちいたしますから。
Okay. Mio Takano-san is my partner, there's no question about that. But I just can't trust her. It's her extremities as a researcher which contrast largely with mine. But are we so different? I'm here simply waiting with a knife and fork in my hands, just as she told me to. Just don't want to witness such a gruesome scene, that's all. What she's preparing for me now is exactly what I want. Who's the hypocrite? Not her. It's me. How can I say I'm different knowing what I've done in the past? I've performed lobotomies without the patient's consent, despite it being surgery that might affect their life forever. How is that different from what she's doing? Oh yeah, Iria, you, deserve to be ostracized from the medical community. What? If that's what you've done? I've never doubted my past achievements. However, when I look at her, I start to feel unease. Takano-san's talking to Okonogi-san on the intercom in my office. I'm sure she's telling him to come over so she can explain to him what was just discussed. I'm simply watching without stopping her. One may say watching and waiting? Question mark? Waiting and see? Question mark? I begin to reflect upon my past to remember why I chose to become a doctor. Whew. Okay. Okay. Couple things. The research hitting its first snag is something. And I feel there's something else in there as well. Reminiscence. He began to reflect upon his life as a doctor. But I don't know if that's now, right? Kyosuke Iria's reminiscence is required. I don't know, is there more to it? Or, why he became a doctor? Let's go through a bit first. The Queen Carrier must be willing to participate. We don't know this yet. Require the Shirakawa Park incident. We don't know. Research needs to have hit his first snag. Instructions for kidnapping the operation of the minister's grandson are required. We don't know the instructions, but the research has hit its first snag. Repetitive apologies are required. No. We don't have anything with a sister. Execution for the third year's curse is required. No. A bat to beat it. No. Maybe this one. We'll try and click on this. Yes, okay. Wanted to become a doctor ever since I was little. Doctors make lots of money. People look up to doctors. I think those are the kinds of reasons I had. So when I played with my friends, I always acted like a doctor. I cleaned their wounds and applied ice packs when my friends sprained their ankles, using what I learned from household medical books. Everyone, including me, believed that I'd be a doctor one day. My family was poor, so they praised me for that goal. They told me that I needed to study a lot to become a doctor, so they borrowed some pseudo-medical books from the local library for me. The rental fees weren't cheap. So I'd speed read one book in a day, and the next day, my parents would go back to the store to exchange it for a different book, saying they accidentally borrowed a book they had already borrowed before. By doing so, my parents borrowed 2 books for the price of 1. Of course, now I know those books were rather useless, but they were highly motivational just the same. My neighbors called me Dr. Kyosuke-kun, and I was always picked for class health officer at school. Even my teachers helped me with the classes I needed to take to become a doctor. Of course, in reality, becoming a doctor isn't easy as it might seem. I had to study diligently, and the path was most definitely rough. To become a doctor, one must attend college. Since my family was poor, I was told I wasn't allowed to go on an expensive private school, so I had to be admitted to a national public university. My grades weren't bad, but the admission rate to the national public universities is very marginal. Especially since I wanted to go to medical school, my chances were even smaller. I studied like crazy. My only driving force was my childhood dream of becoming a doctor. The dream of becoming a doctor and to be looked up to by everyone kept me going. And I was admitted. I wasn't at the top of the list, but I made it in. I was finally at the starting point of making my childhood dream come true. My parents were thrilled. Neither my father nor mother went to college, so they were proud of their son for getting into a public medical school. They invited our relatives over to celebrate. Although it was a public university, tuition wasn't cheap. They still had an extravagant celebration anyway. My father didn't express his emotions much. He always kept a straight face. He rarely voiced his opinion or took initiative on anything. My mother took care of everything, and he showed up last and left without saying a word. He was the typical stern and silent Japanese father of the time. That's why I was surprised to see him shedding tears of joy, and I cried along with him. He went around to all my relatives while repeatedly slapping my back, saying how proud and lucky he was to have a son like me. He bragged about my achievements to all who would hear them. The celebration became my farewell party as I was about to leave for Tokyo. My father yelled, "Banzai!" repeatedly at the station as the train pulled away. I was a little embarrassed, but when I could no longer see my father, I could clearly recall the tears pouring down. The days of the hellish studying and exams began after that. Some days I was tempted to just give up and submit myself to the lavish lifestyle of the city. But the letters from my family always encouraged me and gave me the strength to go on. My dream then was to open up my own clinic in my hometown so I could contribute to the region. I never even dreamed about getting involved with brains. One day I noticed a difference in letter from my family. The letter said the usual things about how it was at home and asked how I was doing. But the postscript was what caught my attention. Your father has become really violent lately. Sometimes he turns the house upside down and I don't know what to do. I just couldn't picture him acting viciously. I was extremely surprised. Did something happen? In the postscript, my mother said that there was nothing she could think of. My mother and father had been together for a long time. They'd been together since well before I was born. So she noticed things that I couldn't. She couldn't even think of a reason why my father had become so violent. What happened? They got along so well. They were such a lovely couple. When I caused a problem for my mother when I was little, my father only bonked my head with his knuckle. How was he acting this way towards my mother? Maybe there was some kind of misunderstanding between them. I was going home for the new year. Maybe I could have a good talk with him then. The situation was a lot more serious than I thought. On one cold winter day, I found my apartment door unlocked. I thought someone had broke in, but I found my mother in my apartment with her luggage. That's right, my mother could no longer take my father's fury and came to stay with me. This was back when people still believed the proverb, "A woman has no place to settle down all her life." She couldn't go back to her own family because they lived in the same region as my father, so she came all the way to Tokyo. I heard about my father's violence from my mother's own lips. She cried, saying she had no idea why such a quiet man changed like that. She said she wasn't ever going to go back to him. I didn't know what to do. I asked her if she could talk to him one more time, but the bruises on her body told me it was no use. To remember what happened afterwards is too much, so I'll be brief. After my mother left, my father thought she was having an affair and went over to the neighbor's house with a wooden sword. He was arrested. He was released immediately, but he assumed someone in the neighborhood was hiding her, so he did the same thing repeatedly. He eventually reached to the point of getting into fights with anyone he saw. In the end, he picked a fight with some young punks and ended up being beaten to death. What? It's no use beating a dead horse, so nobody said anything negative about my father. Everyone was simply puzzled as to why he changed so much. What I heard from my relatives about my father's final days was a lot stranger than what I heard from my mother. My mother only told me about his sudden rage and violence, but my relatives told me. He also laughed and grew sad. Apparently he displayed several sudden fluctuations of emotion, especially so in his last years. He also told me that he started to complain about headaches after an accident he had. My father was a construction worker. He had hit his head on a construction board during an accident at work. Ah, yeah, okay. That messes with you a lot. He regained his consciousness quickly and seemed fine. Since the accident, he started to have headaches and behave abnormally. There's definitely something wrong with his brain, but a lobotomy doesn't save that, Idia. If your idea is, oh, if he had a lobotomy, he would have been better, no. Idia, you're completely wrong. I sensed the connection between the accident and my father's changes, so I talked to my professor after I went back to Tokyo.
断言はできませんが、その様子から入江君のお父さんに何らかの異常が起こっていた可能性は否めません。その事故の際に脳が傷つき、精神的な変化を起こしたのかもしれませんね。お父さんの晩年の言動からは、そんな患者さんに多く見られるいくつかの症状が伺えます。
Human behavior is created by the brain, and if the brain is damaged, it can cause erratic behavior. In other words, my father wasn't crazy. He was just suffering from a disorder.
お父さんの遺体を検視できるなら、脳をよく調べてみるといいでしょう。ひょっとすると、腫瘍のようなものが見つかるかもしれません。
My father had already been cremated, so there was no way of knowing. But hearing about his behavior, I knew for sure. That was the only way to explain why such a quiet and gentle man would change. I tried to explain all this to my relatives to regain my father's honor, but hardly anyone understood. If his brain was damaged, he would have been dead, but he was alive and well. The accident didn't damage his brain. It wasn't his brain that caused him to change, it was his mind. He simply brushed it off like that. This is the perception most people have about the brain. Okay, yeah. Irie, like, has good... Like, this was during a time where I guess the brain wasn't, like, appreciated as much, right? Like, it's, like, it's, like, a long time ago. When the brain was, like, rarely under... Like, the field of psychology was, like, barely a thing. But, and I guess neuroscience is what this is more. Yeah, so it can be difficult, but Yudia's idea of a lobotomy is completely wrong. They don't realize the mind and the brain are connected. Most of the relatives didn't believe me. But there was one person who I really wanted to, anyway. That was my mother. As she got older, she grew senile, and she exaggerated the abuse she had to endure. All she did was criticize my father, and every time she ended up crying, lamenting that she married him. They were a lovely couple. We were a great family. That's why I wanted to convey to her that she was misunderstanding the situation with my father. My father's behavior was caused by his brain damage. What he did to her was very sad, but he didn't want to be that way. That he wasn't at fault. My mother didn't understand. Before she took his last breaths, I begged her to forgive my father. But her final words were, "Please don't bury me next to that man." My father wasn't at fault. He was simply the victim of a brain disorder. You don't complain to a person who's coughing because he has a cold, because coughing is just a symptom, and he should be sympathized with. In my father's case, the symptoms weren't as obvious as a cough. They took the form of changes in personality, which are much harder to recognize. If I'd studied the brain more, I could have explained it better to my mother, so that she could have understood him. Then they could have been a nice couple again in heaven. When I realized that, I cried. I also realized there are plenty of people like my father in this world who are suffering from a disorder, yet they are misunderstood and despised for it. And then I found out about a miraculous cure for such disorders. No, EDA, no. Ever since that day, I spent my days learning about the brain so I could help people who are suffering from mental illnesses. My father is gone, but if he was still alive, I could cure myself. So he and my mother could reconcile. That's the main reason why I'm here. EDA, that's so completely wrong. Ugh. That's of course Koizumi-sensei. Okay, I want to see... So this is just Idia's background, right? But I want to see if there's anything that comes after Idia's background. Hmm. This will take quite a bit. Yes, it will. It will. Okay, nothing about EDA's past. Oh, Ichiro Maebara, inspecting a vacant lock is required. Strawberry milk candy. Okay. It doesn't seem that there's anything with EDA's past that is required later on. So that's okay. What I need to look to now is the first snag of research. Okay. Kidnapping the kidnapping operation of the minister's grandson are required. Okay, meaning I need to go here next. Jiro Tomitake. Because I'm guessing he would have something to do with the kidnapping of the person. Yeah. Okay, let's try it. The forecast said there was a chance of rain in the evening, but I didn't even think it would rain so hard. We decided to wait at an abandoned bus stop for the rain clouds to clear.
ごめんよ、高野さん。
あら、いいのよ、気にしないで、次郎さん。私も土砂降りになるかもしれないことを覚悟の上で出かけたんだから。
Takano-san giggled. Although she said that the weather might change suddenly, I dragged her out here. I feel stupid for making her come along and ending up ruining her precious day off. I have to go back to Tokyo tonight, so it'll be a while before I can return to Hinamizawa. I didn't want to spend my last day at a cheap hotel in Okinomiya, so I asked her to go for a stroll.
いや、本当に申し訳ない。
She teased me for a while, but only a little. She wasn't actually enjoying driving me into a corner. That's just her way of communicating, and I find it very charming. I think I've become captivated by her. But on her part, I'm just an auditor from Tokyo. That's why she's being nice to me, and it's definitely not because she likes me personally. So I feel like I might have used my position to drag her out here, and that makes me a little depressed. I probably should think the slight fever I have is due to nothing more than a cold. Oh wait, this is him having a slight fever. Okay. But she was the type of person who made it clear when she disliked something. She wouldn't say so directly, but she would use all kinds of indirect expressions that meant the same thing. So I want to believe that she's out here because she might be even a little bit attracted to me. I shook my head as I frowned upon my selfish thoughts. She chuckled as though she knew what I was thinking. I felt myself starting to go red after
次郎
that.
さんも不思議な人ね。東京ではさぞや女性にモテるでしょうに。なぜわざわざ私みたいなおかしな女に付き合ってくださるのかしら。
おかしななんてことはないよ。高野さんは十分魅力的だよ。むしろ僕みたいな男のために貴重な休日を割いてもらったのが申し訳ないくらいだよ。
確かに私はとても大切な研究のために生涯を捧げたつもりだけど、それだけじゃたまには頭を切り替えて遊ぶことも大事だし、それに異性とのコミュニケーションは脳の活性にもとてもいいんだから。
僕ごときで高野さんの頭の気分転換のお役に立ててるならいいんだけどね。
あなたは私と一緒にいても気分転換にはならない。
She gives me an impish smile that makes my heart skip a beat. I tried hiding my embarrassment so she wouldn't even notice my ears going red.
そんなことないよ。僕も高野さんと一緒に過ごせるとこういろいろと気分転換になるよ。それにほら、高野さんに野鳥撮影のことを布教すれば僕も撮影の同志を得られるわけだしね。もしよかったら次に来るときは
You found the fat Tuno. What do you mean the fat Tuno? In which way am I fat? Okay, I'm a average sized slime.
ありがとう。あなたを虜にする野鳥撮影がどれくらい楽しいのかぜひ教えていただけると嬉しいわ。
You're literally circular. Okay? If you see like a blobfish, would you call it fat? No, because it's normal sized.
ありがとう。次に来てくださるときはぜひ私の写真の批評をお願いするわね。
どんな写真か楽しみだな。
きっと二郎さんみたいにはいかないわ。
You couldn't be more circular even if you drew it in MS Paint. I think you could be more circular if you tried. I'm round, but like, you know, I'm more of an oval, I would say, not like a circle. While she keeps her cool and smiles, all I can do is blush and scratch my head. Am I being too conceited? I can't help but think that Takano-san likes being with me. If it's mere flattery, I don't think she'd come along this far. Oh, no. They haven't said... No, I understand. Taking woman's flattery is seriously... Taking is the mistake I always make. I shouldn't assume that she's attracted to me.
そういえばこうして二郎さんと二人きりでゆっくりおしゃべりをするのは初めてね。
そうだね。いつも所長とか他の研究員の人とかがいたりするからね。
私あなたのことを全然知らないの。あなたが東京でどんな仕事をしている
What are you doing right now, Couch? What are you up
今ま
to?
でどんなことをしてきたのかとか、自衛隊ではどんな活躍をされているのかしら。
昔ちょっとだけ教官の真似事をしてたけどね。
Just coding a bit, not too much. Nice. Have you been
怪
making
我を
good
した時に
progress?
目をやっちゃってね。普段の生活には支障はないんだけど、大ごとに受け取られちゃって。それ以来は事務屋の仕事ばかりやらされてるんだよ。
Takano-san giggles, saying I must have done something silly to cause the injury. We need Yukon Cornelius to just tear through the screen and then lick his pickaxe. It was Yukon Cornelius. Why would he lick it? Like, is that a thing that he does? Lick his axe normally? Like to break through the screen?
イベントの写真撮影で初めてカメラの魅力を知ったんだよ。
Yeah, it's crazy how far I got on my MC mod so far. Nice!
カメラには人を幸せにする力があるのさ。何を言ってるんだろうって思ってる。
I mean, that's good. That you're making progress. That's what matters.
僕はカメラに触れるように
Then
な
the
ってから
Rudolph movie way back when I was like a kid. Yeah, I just searched him up. I just saw what he was. I realized that it was the... What is it? This guy.
どうして幸せになれるのかしら。
This dude.
カメラというのは日々の生活を切り取って
I probably watched it a long time ago, but I remember nothing about the
だ
plot.
から幸せなものを映したいというのは当然だろう。じゃあ幸せなものはどこにあるんだろうとファインダー越しに自分の周りの世界を覗いてみると、そこには今まで当たり前だと思っていたものが実はとても幸せなものだったんだと気づくことでいっぱいなんだ。例えば路肩のアスファルトの隙間からけなげに生えている一輪のタンポポだって忙しく通り過ぎる時にはただの雑草に過ぎないけれど、ファインダー越しに覗いた時、それは春の訪れを教えてくれる季節からの素敵な贈り物であったことに気づける。
Tomitake, like?
それを写真に収めアルバムに残す。そしてアルバムを再び開くたびにその時の幸せな気持ちが蘇ってくるんだ。
二郎さんは風景や野鳥の撮影をしながらそんな気持ちに浸っているの？
その写真が芸術的かどうかとか賞を取れるような劇的瞬間かどうかなんていう野心的なことは僕にとってあまり重要じゃないんだよ。僕たちが気づかない小さな幸せに気づかせてくれる。そこにこそカメラの魅力があるんだと思ってるんだ。
Okay,
だから
so
そんな気
he's
持
just
ちでこ
talking
の
about
南沢をファインダーで覗けることは
cameras a lot, I guess. I don't think I've seen anything that important. I could be wrong though. Why are you saying that, Couch? Okay. The fiddler. I don't think I want to meet that person, Couch.
ふーん
I have a tendency to go overboard when I talk, but most of the time Takano-san playfully twists my words right back at me. It was very unusual for her to listen to me talk like this. Takano-san sat down next to me and tried to fiddle. Oh, there we go. There's the fiddle. There's the fiddler, I guess. I don't know how much of an impression I made, but I think she is indeed interested in cameras. I was expecting her to tease me like usual, so I'm happy to see that this is her
ちょ
reaction.
っと試してみるかい？
私にもできるかしら。
簡単だよ。最初はピントの合
The
わせ方
fiddler
と
has
シャッター
been...
の押し方
Yes!
だけ覚えれば
I can't believe you predicted the fiddler to appear.
ああ、レンズには絶対に触れちゃダメだよ。
ブー、簡単じゃないじゃない。
Since she seemed to show an interest in cameras, I wanted to take a walk around Hinamizo and take some pictures of the scenery. But unfortunately, the rain doesn't seem to want to stop. But she was still having fun and kept taking pictures inside the bus stop. The first set of pictures she ever took were of odd things in that dark little building. Since then, every time we'd meet, we'd end up walking around the village with our cameras in hand. In hand. Okay, so... Them... Oh, he has a fever! Yes, I forgot. He has a fever, and... The cameras in hand, or something. Like, they walk around with cameras. I don't know. Blue? What is blue? Death of the Dam Construction, Death of Koizumi, Consent Received. I don't know if we've ever seen those two alone or seen before. Well, it was right before he got killed. There was that scene of just them talking. Blue, is there more to say? I guess you're right. Yeah, there's nothing ordered to... It's just blue, if it's blue. And that's fair. Third year's curse of warrior. Shido-san was required. Sight. Oh, why are you quoting something? Like bat to beat her to death. Research needs to hit his first snag. Instructions. Okay, so still no instructions. Shirakawa Park incident. Results of the C-103. No, none of those. Death of Koizumi Sensei. Death of the Dam Construction Manager. Site the blue site. Oh, okay, okay. And what exactly is the blue site? Is it a location? Okay, this is required first, so we'll do that in a bit. Yuro Tomitake's promise is required. Did he make a promise to Takano? She is in her genocidal outfit. You're right. She is there. No, it's Fansley. Ah, okay, my bad. Well, there could be. I guess there could be a lot of areas. Like, it doesn't have to be Fansley. It could also be OnlyFans, right? Isn't that also something? Shopping trip. Fragment is required first. Rock candy. Okay, so nothing here from what I see. I don't know if that's blue. I think it might be. I think it's blue text. So she's part-time job is required. You're forcing him to get a job, you cruel monster. Well, he was trying to save up the money for the stuffed animal. You know, that's up on him. That's like, yeah, that's on him. Okay. I think there's nothing else to do but go towards, like, the thing is, we did Tomitake's thing, right? This is required first. But this didn't lead to anything, right? So I don't know why. This had to have led to something. Making an OnlyFans years ago when I was just like 16 for the joke with cousins and to never post anything. Well, I guess you have that made. So if you ever want to go back, I guess you could. It's definitely good you didn't post anything when you were 16, though. I don't think we know the instructions for kidnapping. Okay, I guess we do. Never mind, we do. That very night. Why would I want to? I don't know. If you're ever in desperate need for money. That very night, the head of the Furude family, the priest, gathered his wife and Rika together for a family meeting. In Hinamizo, it was tradition for the three families to gather and discuss the village's issues. It was hardly unusual for big families like the Sonozaki family and the Kimiyoshi family to have meetings beforehand to sort of opinions among themselves. However, the Furude family had lost its branch family, so there are only 3 of them left. So until that day, they never had a family meeting at all.
どうしたんですか、改まって。 ひょっとしてダムに関わる
Isn't that why most people start like OnlyFans or like any type of that content? It's just because they need money. The dam was the most important issue in the village at the moment. The wife naturally assumed the priest wanted to talk about the dam. For him together, all of them together like that, it must be a huge decision he had to make. Perhaps he was going to talk about joining the pro-evacuation camp.
いや、ダムの話ではない。だが、この村に関わる、いや、この村のご先祖様たちにも関わる、
Oh,
とても
okay,
大事
okay.
な問題だ。
You know what? I'm sure people would pay good money for that OnlyFans of the beetle. The Furure family had served in the priesthood of Oyashiro-sama, the guardian deity of the village, for generations. So for him, the head of the family, to start out that way, it must be something extremely important. Yet, he said it wasn't about the dam, so what could he want to talk about?
私は入り婿だ。だから、古出家の本当の血を受け継ぐお前とリカには、よく聞いてほしい。お前たちは、普通の人間ではないのだ。
僕はお社様の生まれ変わりなのですよ。
リカ、そういうのは口にしてはいけません。あなた、そういう話はリカのいないところでしま
I
しょう。
forgot, Rika's mother was very against this, like, thing, and I can't remember
それで
why.
なくても、集会所のお年寄りたちがリカに
There's literally a series on YouTube called Watering My Tarantulas, and people pay good money for the bug stuff. And what happens in that series, Watering My Tarantulas? Do they, like, just get a watering can and, like, pour it on the tarantulas, or something else?
その、お社様の生まれ変わりというのが、どうも、本当らしいのだ。
は？
少し長い話になる。二人とも、しばらく黙って、私の話を聞きなさい。
The wife had a dumbfounded expression on her face, not knowing what he was going to say, but Rika was completely relaxed, wearing her usual carefree expression. The priest started to talk after his wife calmed
こ
down.
の村には、大昔からある病気があるのだ。それは、この地にだけある特別な病気。フード病と
Wait,
いうも
how
の
does
らしい。
Rika's dad, like, hear about this? What? Did they tell him?
それに
And
は
for some reason, first recording basically
この村に住む者が
owns hundreds of tarantulas, and the entire city is
全員かかっている。
just replacing their water dish. Oh, for some reason, so do you see them drink as well? Like once they replace the water dish?
今、
Because I don't even know how spiders
この村に住んでいる者だ
drink
けではない。
water.
大昔から住んでいたご先祖様たちも、みんなずっ
Hundreds of
と
tarantulas
この病
is
気にかかってき
wild
たの
though.
だ。
No, they just replaced the dish. Okay.
そんな。だって私たちはみんな普通に生活していますよ。この村だけの病気なんて聞いた
It's
こ
just
と
so
も
sad.
ない。
I mean, fair. You know, if it's satisfying, it's
落ち着き
something
な
it's
さい。
completely okay. You know, if it
その病
works,
気
it
はな、
works.
この村にいる限り何も問題はないのだ。だが、この村を出て遠くの地へ行くと発病してしまう。わかるか？
わかるわけないでしょ。何のことだかさっぱり。
お社様のたたりと同じなのです。
Rika said it so calmly while her mother became frustrated.
そうだ。この村から離れるとたたりがあるのと同じなのだ。つまり、お社様のたたりだとご先祖様たちが代々恐れてきたのは、この村だけにしかない
そんなことあるわけないです。だって私たちだって時には村を離れることもあるじゃないですか。
Rika, like, I remember reading this tip for Rika's mom, and it's like, dude, she kind of just pissed me off from what I remember before. And, like, it's just like she's so combative the entire time. I can't remember why. She had a reason for, like, disliking everything about the village before, or, like, all the village, like, customs or whatever. But, like, she hated it. Which is weird because she's the one that was born into it and the father married into it. You know, like, you expect it to be the other way around, but no.
村の人だって仕事で遠くへ出かける人だっているし、海外に出かける人だって。
うん。それは長い時間を経て病気が徐々に弱まってきたかららしい。だからこのままさらに長い時間をかければ消えてなくなってしまうものだったのだ。だがそれがダム戦争のせいでおかしくなったらしい。ダム戦争で今村中が熱に浮かされたように興奮している状態にあるのはみんなも分かっているだろう。そういう興奮状態や情緒不安定な状態はこの病気を悪化させてしまうらしいのだ。
Have we heard this guy's voice
よ
before?
く話がわかりませんけど、つまり
この大昔からたたりだと呼んできたものは全てその病気の仕業だとおっしゃるんですね。
そうだ。お社様の作った決まりは全てこの病気から村人を守るための決まりだったのだ。
そんな、それじゃお社様は神様ではなく病気が正体なんですか？そんなことを古出家代々のご先祖様たちに説明できますか？
落ち着きなさい。お社様の信仰は変わらない。お社様がひなみ沢を見守ってくださることに何の変わりもない。お社様のたたりを再現する病気がこの村には大昔からあったということ、それだけなんだ。
そんなのは認められません。
Yeah, and because mom obviously has to just go like, okay,
亡くな
whatever.
った先代や先々代に説明できますか？古出家数百年の伝統に対する、いえ、
You don't even care about the traditions.
お社様に対する冒涜です。
It's crazy how Hanyu is Oyashiro, yeah?
そんなことをあなたに吹き込んだのは誰ですか？失礼極まりない。大地、そんな変な病気が実在するという証拠があるんですか？
ある。
それはどんな？誰が？
厚生省と国立感染症予防研究所の方からだ。病原体もすでに特定され、現在治療方法などを研究している最中だという。先週実際にその資料や標本などを見せてもらった。厚生省の方はこの病気をひなみ沢症候群と呼んでいるらしい。
そんな。
ひなみ沢症候群は普通に生活している分には何も影響のない。だがひなみ沢を遠く離れたり、精神や情緒が不安定になったりすると発病しやすくなるという。発病すると妄想などに取りつかれ、最悪の場合異常行動に出ることもあるらしい。
But I don't understand. So how did Keiichi like literally move into the village and then contract the disease like immediately?
この病気は戦争中に発見されたんだそうだ。戦地でひなみ沢の兵隊だけ異常な病気を起こすことがあるのに、偉い学者の先生が気がついて研究がずっと進められてきたんだという。その辺の話はだいぶ詳しくしてもらったんだが、すまん。難しい内容だったので私の口からはこれ以上うまく説明できん。もし私
It'll
の説明
explain
で
it at
は
some
納
point.
得
Okay.
できんというなら、お前も直接話を聞いてみればいい。私だって最初は何をバカなことを。
Maybe it has and I already forgot. That could also be the
憤慨してい
case.
たのだから。その病気を研究するために入江診療所が作られたというんだ。あそこは表向きはただの診療所ということになっているが、実際は病気を調べるための隠し研究所らしい。
秘密で研究しているなんてうさんくさいじゃないですか。それも厚生省がやっていることなら堂々とやればいいじゃないですか。
いや、そうはいかんらしい。
There's a passive thing people get when living in Hinamizuo for long enough. But how long did could Keiichi only, I guess like maybe a few, but it's something okay, so it's not something that passes from people, from person to person. It's just a regional thing. Like it's just being in this, living in Hinamizuo. It's like something about Hinamizuo that you get it from something in Hinamizuo?
この病気の実態を把握しないまま存在するという事
Drastically
実だけが
less likely for
不十
random
分な
visitors to
知
get
識で
it,
広
but
まっ
it's
てしまっ
entirely
たら、
possible.
病気を持っている人たちはもちろん無関係の人々も勘違いした差別を受けることに
Yeah,
なる。
it's not like a contagious disease in the traditional sense. Okay.
ひなみ沢の人間は皆怪しげな病気にかかっていて、そのせいでとんでもないことをするかもしれないなどという噂が日本中に知れ渡ったら大変だ。厚生省もそのことを心配していて、この病気については厳重に伏せた上で治療を目指すらしい。勘違いするな。私たちを見せ物にするというんじゃないぞ。この病気を根絶させ、この村を病気から解放しようとしているのだ。自給自足ができていた大昔ならともかく、現代では村から一歩も出ずに生活など成り立たん。村から出るだけで発病するかもしれない病気など、村人にとって どれほど危険なものかわかるだろ。繰り返しになるが、昨今反ダム戦争で村全体が強い興奮状態にあって、ひなみ沢症候群にとって非常に良くない状態にあるらしい。
もし村人がおかしくなって大変なことをしたら、きっとマスコミがパシャパシャでいっぱいなのです。
そうだ。うん。そうなったからでは手遅れなの
It
だ。
can be contagious in the sense that someone tweaking out can trigger other people's. Okay.
そんな、いきなり言われても、本当に相手は国の人？変な詐欺に騙されてるんじゃないですか？
信用できんのも無理はない。先方は研究所はいつでも見に来ていいと言っている。私はもう見せてもらっているが、あれは詐欺とかそういうレベルで
Poor
はない。
Rika, yeah.
ゴグラの大病院でも
Look at
あ
her.
んな大掛かりな設備
Her
はないぞ。
face. So sad.
お前も私の話に納得できないなら、研究所で詳しい話を聞かせてもらうといい。私よりもっと詳しく説明してくれるだろう。向こうは研究所の説明でも納得できないなら、東京の国立研究所で説明してもいいし、厚生省の本庁舎で直接説明してもいいと言っている。
でも、信じる信じないは別にして、それが私たちにどういう関係があるんです？
古出家は代々お社様の血を受け継ぐと言われている。そして8代続いて女子が生まれれば、その8代目はお社様の生まれ変わりであるとも。
み
そうですわ。私が7代目、リカが8代目。でも、それとその病気に何の関係があるというんです？
Yeah, she has to come in with that every
こ
time.
のひなみ沢症候群という病気はある種の寄生虫によるらしい。虫といってもものすごく小さい。
So, okay, wait. Is this Rika before she went through like her hundreds of reincarnations? Or is this her after she's like still like 100,000 years old or something?
人の目には決して見えんくらいに、その虫たちには親分格がいるというのだ。
まさか、それがフルデ家だとおっしゃるんですか？
その親分格の寄生虫は代々古田家の直系だけに受け継がれるらしい。つまり先代はお前。
I was saying, is this before she like reincarnated? Like, is this her actually at like 8 years old or whatever, or however old she is? Or yeah, okay.
今は理科だ。
み
バカバカしい。そんな話、やっぱりおかしいですわ。
Yeah, I really dislike this
大
mother.
体ですね、寄生虫なんてそんな気持ち悪いもの。
だから私では説明が下手だ。専門の人に説明を受けなさい。そして彼らが言うには、この病気の治療を研究するためには、
But yeah, looping Rika versus non-looping Rika. Yeah, exactly.
嫌です。そんな怪しげな研究まっぴらごめんですし、理科だってそんな研究には関わらせません。
だから落ち着きなさいというのに。彼らの研究では、ひなみ沢症候群は村から離れると発病するのではなく、お前も小さかった頃、村人から陣痛力があると言われていたことがあるだろ。遠方に出かけ片頭痛などにかかったお年寄りがお前に払ってもらうとたちまち頭痛が消えたという陣痛力。それこそが親分格の証拠でもあるというのだ。フルデの血には発病者を救う力がある。それを研究するのは治療薬を見つけるためにもとても重要なことなのだそうだ。
僕を研究すると村のみんなが助かるのですか？
先方はそう言っている。
その病気は村の全員がかかっているのですか？僕もみんなも里子も？
うん。村に住む人間全員だけでなく、沖宮に住む親類なども全て含むそうだ。多分何千人という規模になるだろう。それだけの大変な病気だから、厚生省がわざわざたくさんの予算を投じて専門の研究所を作ってくれたのだ。
Dude, I can't. I really dislike her mother, man. Like, and her, like, thing that she wrote for her tip about Rika, I did not like her, and now hearing her, I like speak, I don't like her even more.
そんな怪しげな研究の生贄にするだなんて。
僕はいいのですよ。僕が生贄で聡子が助かるなら全然平気なのです。
リカは黙っていなさい。とにかく絶対反対です。あなたにそんな妙なことを吹き込んだ人たちには私が直接会ってはっきりとお断りをします。リカを変な実験で殺されてたまるものですか。大体リカはフルデ家のたった一人の後継ぎなんですよ。もしものことがあればフルデの血はここで絶えてしまうかもしれないじゃないですか。あなたはもっとですね、フルデの家のことを考えていただかないと。そんなだから村の人たちに日和見主義とかなんとか言われて、大体おかしいじゃないですか。建設省は村をダムに沈める。
Well, actually, okay. I guess it depends. Like, thinking about if it's looping versus non-looping Rika, this, considering the fact that in chapter 4 that was a looping Rika, there's a good chance that this one could be looping Rika as well. It just depends when in the timeline is this taking place, right? Like, is this taken after she knows information or before? And the way she's carrying herself, I feel like it's after.
厚生省は村の病気を治す。何が何だかさっぱりわからないです。
厚生省はこの病気は環境の変化で大変発病しやすいと警告していて、建設庁に対しダム計画を中止するよう働きかけてくれているそうだ。だからお前も研究所を見せてもらいなさい。あれだけの大設備をダム湖に沈むかもしれない土地に建てるわけがない。
Rika let out a big yawn. It was long past bedtime for a little girl like her.
僕はもう寝ますです。父さん、僕はいつでも協力するとその人たちに言っておいてくださいなのです。
リカ、そんなことお母さんに断りなく勝手に決めちゃいけません。リカ、待ちなさい。リカ。
Higurashi when they cry Kai. Wow. Wow. Okay, so now we got the Queen Carrier's permission, right? That's what we got? There's something here? The Queen Carrier must be willing to participate. Okay, cool. We now need the L5 stage patient's dissection. And it's from here we got Takano willing to get the section. Okay? Tragedy at the dam construction site is required. For sacrifice. Okay, so we're not doing any of these sacrifices. Okay? Well, the Queen Carrier must be willing to participate. This one. When researching Hinamizawa syndrome, there's something very important that needs to be discussed first. If something happens to the Queen Carrier, the village will collapse. In his article, my grandfather called it the most dangerous situation. According to my grandfather, if the Queen Carrier dies, all the infected persons will go terminal within 48 hours. This may sound unbelievable at first, but research on the collapse of past local religions and group suicides around the world should indicate that there's some truth to it. Among all the mysterious incidents and around the world, there are some that were caused by parasites controlling entire communities, very similar to Hinamizawa syndrome. Grandfather picked a few cases that are very similar to the syndrome and investigated them. As a result, he confirmed multiple cases of entire communities losing their minds after the death of a religious leader or founder and finally annihilating themselves. He stated that on average it happened within 48 hours. It's clear that infected people are affected by the Queen Carrier, and the condition of the Queen Carrier is, in fact, affecting the entire village. Our statistics already prove that on weeks Rika felt sick and visited the clinic, we saw an exceptionally high number of visitors. Rika being sick with a simple cold has a massive impact. If something particularly bad happened to her, we'd be facing a serious situation within 48 hours. That's why the Iria Institute has to protect Rika Furude, the Queen Carrier. It's the most important mission of the Hinamizawa Syndrome Research Project. She's already agreed to help us in our research, but we have to be very careful to not put her in any danger. Also, we have to protect her from anyone who would try to harm her. By the way, what, Couch? Her life is equal to the lives of 2,000 villagers. But what if something happens to her by accident? The Idia Institute must prepare for that situation. That's why I worked on the draft of an emergency manual when the Idia Institute was first established. It's a precaution in case the Queen Carrier dies, or if infected people show acute symptoms due to the death of the Queen Carrier. This is an emergency procedure which must be followed within 48 hours of the mass occurrence of the acute symptoms. You have no idea how it is adding Read Meteorology to Minecraft that's able to dynamically work basically every single mod on CurseForge and with the base game. So is the mod you're trying to do like, you said meteorology, which is like, I think the, like, weather and stuff like that, right? So like, what exactly are you trying to do? Like, what is your goal of the mod, I guess? The final measure is to prevent the damage from spreading to nearby areas. The plan uses gas, making it look like a natural disaster. My client, the Alphabet Project, took the responsibility of working out the details of the plan. They are used to dealing with things like nuclear and biological weapons, so they ended up being such a big help. There's no way I could have come up with a plan on my own to execute 2,000 villagers. I've been trying to make real meteorology in Minecraft to make the most realistic weather any mod has ever seen. Okay, what, I guess, like, are you looking to do to make weather more realistic? Like, what is realistic about the weather in your mod that you would say is better than others, or like you hope to achieve? Tornadoes are not events; they're products of the winds and clouds doing their. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, hopefully that goes. I mean, I can imagine that being hard. Yeah. Through a dummy company, the ground SDF has secured a close quarry in the Yagouchi region upstream of Hinamizawa. It's to be the secret storage base for the equipment we'd use in that operation. Equipment that sprays deadly gas that kills people as if they were falling asleep is stored here. In the case of an emergency, a special unit of the ground SDF is to use this equipment to destroy the village. Well, good luck with that then, Couch. I hope you are able to do so. However, preparing for the execution of the villagers itself is politically dangerous. So if I'm going to insist on them getting the equipment ready, I have to make them understand how dangerous Hinamizo syndrome is, and how urgent the need is to have a contingency plan. I have to prove the need for the plan by showing them enough data. So the files my grandfather kept intact come in quite handy. When the clients read my grandfather's articles about the syndrome, they were surprised to see how catastrophic things could be in the worst-case scenario. I've gotten really far in it already, though I've been working on it for around a week or two. Good, I mean, when do you think you'll be able to finish it then?
はい。ひなみ沢症候群に極めて類似するいくつかのケースでは、集団自殺を示すものが少なくありませんが、ひなみ沢症候群の場合、強い疑心暗鬼や過剰なまでの危機意識から何かの過剰防衛を行う可能性があり、被害は感染者2000人にとどまらないものと推定されます。それらは無政府状態の暴動から始まり、猟奇的なあるいは宗教的終末感にも似た異常な状況を作り出すでしょう。これに対する事前の鎮圧策を用意しなかった場合、世界の注目を浴びることは避けられません。また、その猶予は事態発生から48時間しかありません。
つまり、いざことが起こったらもう誰にも防げない
It's already mostly done with the visual aspect of it. I just have to tweak and calibrate the numbers. Nice! Okay, that's really good then.
感染者全員を48時間以
Hope
内
it
に
comes out
全
as
員治
as
療
good
す
as
るこ
you're
とは
like,
不可
hoping
能
it'll
な
be.
のかね。
You know?
無理だろう。それに治療方法すら確立していないし、研究所の規模では村人全員の救済は物理的に不可能だ。
しかしこのような
So far it
恐ろ
has
しく
great.
珍しい病気があるとは世の中わからんもんですな。
常に最悪の事態に備えることは国防にも通じますし、我々アルファベットプロジェクトの理念でもあ
What
り
are
ます。
you gonna call the mod once it's
そ
done?
して使うことが目的なのではなく、備えることそのものが寛容なの
Sounds
で
good,
す。
Couch.
確かにおっしゃる通
Or
りで
does
す
it already
な。
have a name?
運用規定については 決済区分の強化などまだ検討したいところはありますが、最悪の事態に対応する準備が必要だということは理解できました。
I mean, obviously I understand the weather part, but I don't know the other parts.
都市沈黙船の研究班にひなみ沢地区沈黙船のシミュレーションをさせましょう。これは至急行われる必要があると思います。
Among the casual weather vane makes okay. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
こうしている間にも。
That makes a lot of sense.
車にはねられて死んでしまう可能性だってあるのですから。高野さんさ、ありがとう。また質問しますので、着席してくださって結構です。
Thanks to a push from one of my backers, things were decided without too much of a problem. It took me almost a day to explain it to them, but it took only a short time to come to a decision. Nobody criticized, ridiculed, or tried to reject my grandfather's articles out of hand. In the files they're all reading today, they're the very same shameful articles those haughty authorities left their footprints on as they trampled them and my grandfather's heart. But they aren't ridiculing the articles. They are reading what was once rejected. It's nothing big at a glance, but in this moment my grandfather's research is being recognized for the first time. My heart is filled with satisfaction to see people discussing amongst each other while pointing to my grandfather's files and raising them as proof. In Discord. Okay, let's see it. Yo, wait, that's crazy. It looks like, looks like Google Earth. Like with the top-down view. Of, like, you know, having the land here and everything, and then, like, this looks like Google Earth. A bit, yeah. Grandpa in heaven, can you see this? Okay, what did we learn there? What did we learn there? We're talking about the dam I guess the contingency plan being approved. Head of apologies. Tragedy at the dam. 30th Christopher Shiro-sama. Okay, so it doesn't look like tweaking the numbers so like the wind and clouds aren't like going crazy style. Or like just not happening at all. Like you're just trying to find the right fit basically. Trying to make them more realistic. Yeah, fair. Okay, okay. Must refuse his visit at the clinic. Fusion over the 3rd year. Declaration of war. Bat to beat her to death. Shitakawa Park incident. No clue. Prior consent. Death of Koizumi sensei. Medicine. Jiro Tomitake's high fever is required. We got the slight fever. We don't have Rika Furude's high fever though. Death of the dam construction manager is required. Bottle of wine. Tomitake's draft of an emergency manual is required. I think we have this. The roll of a 1. The draft of emergency manual. Okay. Shinjo Priest contacting the Idiot institution is required. Raw candy. Okay, I think maybe now we can go towards a new thing. Because, like, I think we've done everything that we can already. Yosuke Irie. Jiro Tomitake. Oh, what did we learn from Jiro Tomitake, actually? I forgot what we learned from him. Oh, it was the Takano on the, like, with the camera and everything. Okay, that's what it was. Of course, I added an optional dependency for both Serene Seasons and Tough as Nails, so it can be added automatically integrated if need be for whoever's placed. Okay. And what happens, like... Is it like the weather becomes more chaotic, depending on what you choose? Oh, maybe it's Jiro Tomitake's promise. So, we need a bottle of wine, then. What's the difference between the what are the difference between the modes then? I know you say you're trying to make it more realistic, right? But like what is the difference of the sliders, I guess. I don't know what to call it. differences and stuff. Invitation to end. Game board must be set up. Okay, we know that we have slight fever. So we need Rika Furude's slight fever as well. Okay, let's go to... it's this one here. This fragment is required first, yes? This also should... Yeah, okay, these two are required first. Let's do Satoshi Hojo's, because it feels like there's a lot of stuff with Satoko early on. When I asked Rika-chan, she said Satoko might have possibly gone up to the mountain behind the shrine. Let's determine by what biome and the biomes around it, and what wind is happening from where and what direction, the temperature of each biome, what season is using, if you're using serene seasons. Oh, okay, okay. She's fond of going there. What wind is happening from where? Okay, that makes sense. A mountain is covered in with trees, vines, and fallen logs, and she really likes that area. Any child would dream of having it as a secret base. And as Satoko, her secret base is that whole mountain. However, the mountains were undeveloped territory, making them a dangerous place that was easy to get lost in. As her brother, I'm a little concerned that she spends so much time on it. But maybe I should worry about myself getting lost since I rarely come here. The mountain gets dark quickly when evening falls. If I still can't find her, I should look for her somewhere else.
Satoko! Satoko!
I'm yelling as loud as I can, but in the woods, my voice doesn't carry that well. According to Rika-chan, she has been making her secret base in this area. She goes up there alone to expand it. What does she mean by expand it? If it's a secret base, then she might not want anyone to find it. That means she set up some traps? Considering that, I should have noticed the traps on the mountain before one got me. Suddenly my foot sunk into the ground and snagged on something like a jump rope tied between dried leaves. I heard some noises from up above, then a big ball made of branches fell right next to me. That had to be one of the playful traps Satoko loved. If I wasn't so lucky, I'm sure the ball would have hit my head.
あらあらあら、どなたが現れたかと思えば、ニーニーではありませんの。
サトコ、ダメだよこんな遊びは。危ないじゃないか。
この先は危険だから入ってはいけないってエディン州の看板がちゃんとあったはずでございましたよ。
I like how the voices are
それ
slightly
を無
like
視する方には素敵なトラップの大歓迎がお待ちしておりましたよ。
like Rika's voice and Satoko's voice are both slightly different. Because they're like meant to be younger versions of themselves here, which is cool. As her brother, I should stop her from doing things like this. But when I see her brilliant smile, I can't say anything else. I haven't seen that smile in some time.
それよりサトコ、今日は家族みんなで食事に出かけるから、夕方までには家に戻りなさいって言われてたじゃないか。
別に私、お食事なんか行きたくありませんわ。お母さんとお父さんが二人で行けばいいんじゃありませんの？行きたければ、ニーニーも一緒に三人で行けばいいんですわ。
まだお父さんのこと怒ってるのかい？
私に灰皿を投げつけましたわ。
違うだろう。
私をベランダに追い出して鍵をかけましたわ。お昼ご飯を抜きにされましたわ。タバコの種類が違うと言われましたわ。好き嫌いはダメだってほっぺたを叩かれましたわ。それから。
She isn't talking about our current stepfather. Things about all of our different stepfathers have mixed themselves up in her head. Every time our mother remarried, we had to call a different man our father. The word father isn't a word that should be taken lightly. If you don't truly acknowledge a man as your father, how can you call him that? That's how much weight it carries. However, just to make things smooth and peaceful, I used the word father, even if I didn't want to. It was too difficult for Satoko, young as she was, to do the same. Ever since Satoko was very little, she's been having trouble with our stepfathers. She's never opened up to her current one. For Satoko, a father figure is no longer someone she can trust. It's true that our current stepfather doesn't have any experience being a parent, so he sometimes gets rather upset with her. But ever since the incident where Satoko called the child abuse hotline, our stepfather regretted his mistakes and tried his best to communicate with her. Even my mother realized how much Satoko has suffered emotionally when it was pointed out by the social worker. She's doing her part in trying to bring Satoko back into the family. But Satoko completely refuses to even try. It's understandable, though. Her childhood had been filled with misery. Satoko can only open up to me. That's why I have to be the one and only family member she can trust. Otherwise, she'll be alone in this world. Her brother and sister alone can't be considered a family. Even if we don't get along now, we continue to communicate, even in a small way. We may be able to become a real family someday.
サトコ、今のお父さんはだんだん優しくなってきたよ。サトコと仲直りしたいっていつも言ってる。
そんなの聞いたことありませんわ。
お父さんがそれを言おうとすると、サトコが逃げちゃうからだよ。お父さんももっとサトコと話をしたがってる。もうかぼちゃを無理やり食べさせたりはしないって言ってたよ。
嘘ですわ。かぼちゃを食べるまでは食卓から逃がさないって言われて、椅子にビニール紐で縛られましたわ。
Again, she isn't talking about a current
サ
stepfather.
トコ、とにかくニーニーと一緒に家に帰ろう。せっかくお母さんが福引きで当てたお食事券が無駄になっちゃうよ。予約制だから今日行かないと無効になっちゃう。
ニーニーだけで行けばいいんですわ。私は一人でお留守番してるのが好きなんですの。
Satoko usually doesn't stay out playing this late. She knows we're going out, and that's why she's out here alone. Although I want to snap at Satoko, I control myself. Because she only has me. I can't scare
と
her.
にかくサトコ、帰ろう。食事に一緒に行くかどうかは帰ってから決めてもいいんじゃないかな。それにサトコに案内してもらわないと僕家に帰れない。
ニーニー、あれだけ何度も一緒に連れてってあげましたのに、まだここが覚えられませんの？まったくしょうがないニーニーですわね。
Satoko holds out her hand. She often says she's embarrassed to hold my hand in front of people, but she's holding out her hand right now. I took that hand. Satoko's fragile hand. I have to protect her as her big brother.
帰ろう、サトコ。
ええ。
Okay. So now we've been introduced to Satoko. What have we learned now? Let's go back to the very beginning. Nothing there, nothing there. Satoko has not been hospitalized yet. No person has been dissected yet. Satoko's aunt hasn't died yet. Let's go back over here. It might be here. Self-introduction of Satoko Hojo is required. The self-introduction? So that means we need Satoko to introduce herself. Satoko, this fragment is required first. Okay. Satoko Hojo's detailed test results is required. No. There's no conflict happening yet. At least from what I've seen. Hojo family and Sonozaki family is required. Ryugu's family's move is required. Red capsule is required. I don't know what a red capsule I've seen. Okay, a local explanatory meeting.
でしてダムの建設事業に伴う地域振興や地域産業の育成などですね。
そんなことは聞いてねえっつってんだろ。俺らの誰の断りがあってダムなんか作ろうって言い出したかって聞いてんだ。
おう、わしらから税金絞るだけ絞っといて、それに対する返事がこれっちゅうんか。あんどりゃ誰の税金で給料もらっとんじゃ。
ですから先ほどから申し上げておりますように、
言い訳など聞いちゃならんねえ。いつ計画を中止するんか聞いとるんじゃい。お前じゃ話にならん。東京の建設大臣を連れてこい。ここではっきり白黒つけちゃう。
ごめんか、コッパ役人が。
大体踊れら人様の税金で仕事しとってなんでわしらより高い段で話をしとるんじゃ。目線で話さんかい、目線で。
The auditorium is filled with angry shouting. The sign at the entrance says, Hinamizawa Dam Construction Explanatory Meeting. Every time the official on the stage tried to say anything, the citizens packed into the room silenced him with their shouts. Trying to ignore them, the official continued to explain the pros of the dam. That just further infuriated them. Between the stage and the citizens, there's an open area where a police squad is standing by. If they weren't there, the citizens would jump onto the stage and start a riot. I'm watching all of this from the back of the auditorium. It's obvious to anyone that they're being swallowed by their anger. They become filled with a bloody red rage. Anger that came from a certain purpose becomes a purpose in itself, and it creates a vicious cycle where anger leads to more anger. Anger is a necessary emotion for humans. People face many difficulties in their life. Anger gives them the motivation to fight and conquer such difficulties. Therefore, anger is an essential part of life itself. So I will never reject anger itself. However, anger like this goes far beyond normal. It makes people forget their purpose. That is no longer an essential part of their life. As the blood rushes to their head, a person can't even remember what they've done. They go out of control. Such emotions are very painful, sad, and difficult to endure. I can clearly see the villagers who live alongside us turning to demons. I understand the rules of the human world. The power of an individual can't be compared to the power of the government. To be able to fight, an individual needs to become part of a larger unified power. To steer that unified power in the right direction is extremely difficult. The cycle of anger leads to more anger. Not anger that helps you live, but anger that exists only for anger. It's just like being a demon, and this emotion is capable of violently rousing us from our long, peaceful slumber. Everyone is immersed in their own anger. We live peacefully with the villagers while we slept quietly, yet now we've awakened. It's like the world is trying to return to that age where demons were said to rise from Onigafuchi Swamp. I keep shouting at everyone to get them to calm down, but my voice can't reach them because of the vicious cycle of anger. Even so, I'll continue shouting, hoping even one of them will hear my voice. Because if I don't do anything, the demons may awaken. The demons that went into a deep sleep may reawaken because of this commotion. Then all of a sudden, the atmosphere changed. Looking up, I saw that angry exchange between villagers and those on the podium had devolved into a conversation between the villagers themselves. What's going on? Wait, that's not her dad. That's her uncle.
おお、北条のなまぬかしよった。ようも村を沈めちゃる言えるの。お前なんぼで村を売った。
黙らんか死に損ないが。いいんか。南沢には貧乏にも大勢おるん。お前んとこみたいに山に畑をうなるほど持ってる地主とわけが違う。わしゃ国の報奨金で十分満足しとったん。町の公営住宅も手配してくれるっちゅうし、なんも不足はなかった。それをオンドレラが全部ちゃぶ台ひっくり返しちゃったん。台無しにしちゃったんじゃボケ。踊れら地主の都合で人まで巻き込むなや。そんなに国と喧嘩せんかったら踊れが一人でやれ。したらん銭は誰が払うんね。踊れかいな。うちはな貧乏だし育ち盛りが二人もおるん。おとなしゅう国から銭をもろうて職を斡旋してもろうて人生再設計ちゅうとこなんや。それを踊れはなんじゃ。お前そんなに偉いんか。ああ。
おうおうおう、北条のようも抜かしたこの裏切り者が。なら村から出てけ出てけ。
おう、出ていったらもちろんそれに見合う銭はお前が払うんじゃろうな。わしが国からもらい損ねた銭きっちり都合つけてくれるんじゃろうな。村から出とうとも銭がないんじゃ。踊りが払うんならすぐにでも出たったろわ。
北条の言う通りだ。立ち退いてもいいと思ってる住民もいるんだぞ。御三家は俺たちを巻き込むな。
おうおう、なんじゃ今抜かしたのは誰じゃ。名乗らんかボケ。
残りたいやつ勝手に残ればいいだろうが、立ち退きも権利じゃ。勝手に人様の権利に干渉すんな、このダラズが。そうじゃそうじゃ、その先のクソババアはすっこんだね。
ああ、もちろんダム計画に同意してくださる方には見合う保証を用意いたしております。決して土地の搾取ではありませんので。
黙れ役人ポケ。おんどりゃ村真っ二つに策を魂胆かい。死ねや北条。村の空気を吸う資格はねえ。今すぐ息止めて死ね。
なめんなボケが。ぶっ殺したら前に出るクソババ。おい引っ込まんかいデカポリ。
よう抜かした。よう抜かした北条の。この園崎おりょう、久々に頭血のぼってきよったわ。きっちりけじめ取らしてもらうかんの。繁盛楽しみに待っとれや。
北条やれやれ。国は俺たちに仕事と住みかと金を与えろ。
こらこら、やめなさい暴力は。お互いやめてやめて。
すったら上等じゃ。恩師が出て今回な。
Everyone is being tainted with the bloody red anger, and I can only watch. Least I can do is to apologize for the tragedy that is about to happen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is how things started. From this day onward, the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family will wage a feud against each other, and the Hojo family will become ostracized within the village. This marks the beginning of Satoko and Satoshi's lives of tremendous hardship. Okay. The dam is now connected to Satoko and Satoshi. Let's go back to the beginning and see. None of these. Nope. Prior consent for the collection of cerebrospinal. No. Koizumi Sensei. Nope. Furude. Nope. Nope. Commission medicine. Nope. Bottle of wine. Maybe later. Let's have to go. Nope. Nope. Oh. No, there's no self-introduction yet, but this is almost. Footsteps following a no. No. Nope. Yugu's family move is required. Watermelon from the Sonozaki family is required. Nope. 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 And I guess this is also required first, so we can do Satoko's thing. Oh, here. We can do Rika Furude. Play a song. Where's that? Music volume. Okay. Bruce Angels Yeezus. Kanye West X Neon Genesis Evangelion. Wow. I ran into Satoko while on my way to the grocery store for my mother. Satoko said she was going there too, so we decided to go together. After exchanging our shopping list, it became easy to guess what the other family would be having for dinner. Satoko's family is having grilled fish and cooked vegetables. We're having Salisbury steak.
あら、ハンバーグとは羨ましいですわね。私、魚はともかく煮物というのがちょっと怖いんですのよ。
Yeah, it does.
先日買ったかぼちゃがまだだいぶ残ってるみたいなんです。きっと今夜もかぼちゃの煮物三昧なのです。かわいそかわいそなのです。あらかじめかぼちゃが出てくると分かっているのも憂鬱でございますわね。はあ、突然かぼちゃを出されても怒るくせに贅沢なさとこなのです。
They slowed down the Neon Genesis one, though, I think, to make it fit better.
リカにだって少しは嫌いな食べ物があるはずですわよ。そういえばリカ、大福とかシュークリームとか甘いものが嫌いだったんではございませんこと？別に嫌いではないのです。意地悪で食べないだけなのですよ。食べる気なら何個でも食べられちゃいますのです。
A bit, yeah.
パンプキンパイだって美味しくいただけますのですよ。
But it's still good, yeah.
リカだけ好き嫌いがないなんてずるいですわ。
Conversations like this are how I have fun. Satoko's my best friend. I usually don't like grocery shopping, but if I'm with Satoko, I can make it into an enjoyable evening stroll. Near the supermarket, there are grocers and other shops, forming a little shopping district. The grocery store is busy that time of day. All the housewives in Hinamizawa gather here to shop. Since Satoko and I have different things to buy, we decide to do our shopping separately. Dude, this guy's voice is not it. He sounds like he's gonna fall over and die any second now.
僕はお買い物ができる偉い子なのです。
そうかそうか、リカちゃまは偉いな。ほら、偉い子のご褒美にこれをあげよう。
I've been watching Evangelion, and during the opening, I just kept mixing these two passively. Oh, nice! What made you start watching Evangelion? I figure there's probably a lot of like remixes like that. But really, so like you just randomly searched this up and you found it, and because you like just kept hearing it in the like opening? It was my favorite flavor, strawberry milk. To reward myself. Once again, Diana, nobody made you watch Solo Leveling. That was completely you. And you could say like, oh yeah, sometimes you need to watch Slop. The reason you watch Slop is because you enjoy it. You don't watch Slop because you don't enjoy it. That's not how that works. Put in my pocket so I can brag about it to Satoko later. I get a lot of fun out of teasing Satoko and making her jealous. She always overreacts, so I never get bored when I'm with her.
Oh yeah? リカちゃまのところは今日は何だい？豚のひき肉だと。
It's like what you're saying before. Like, you're watching stuff that's cringe to build up your tolerance to it. You don't need to watch anything like that ever in your life. You just choose to watch it.
ハンバーグなのですよ。お花の形の目玉焼きを乗っけてケチャップでお絵かきをするのです。
I enjoy that conversation while filling my shopping basket. Then I overheard some woman whispering. They're talking about something that's a little harsh. They're talking about Satoko. How long do those village traders plan to stay here? They should just leave. They don't even have the guts to go shopping themselves and make their daughter do it themselves. The woman went on and on. Ever since the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family just got into a huge fight at the explanatory meeting for the dam project, the Hojo family has been ostracized within the village. At first, there's a significant number of families in favor of leaving, like the Hojos. The main branch of the Sonozakis led a push to completely solidify the village's opinion, and that tone of unified resistance grew stronger. The pro-evacuation families steadily grew quiet. The public harassment led by the Sonozakis and Kimiyoshis, two of the three families with powerful influence on the village, also played an effect too. The Sonozaki family made the Hojo family into an example to ensure there be no more pro-evacuation supporters. The ancestors of the village have lived here for generations, and the villagers also know that they themselves will be buried in this village, so this harassment will put a lot of pressure on them. Who was it that agreed to make the Hojo family leader of the pro-evacuation group at the explanatory meeting? Those same people no longer said anything, and they even joined in on harassing the Hojo family. The harassment they faced became pressure from the entire village. Also because I don't want to get to episode 8 quite yet. How come? You just need to take a break from it or something else? The Hojo family is hardly wealthy, and they haven't paid the town council fees in a long time. When things were peaceful, nobody said anything about it. Now that the wind was blowing a different way, the Hojo family was asked to pay off all their late council fees immediately. It wasn't an amount they could afford, but the Hojos recognized a fight was being picked with them, and they responded to it. And so the Hojo family quit the town council. That only played right into the village's evil plan. Making an enemy of the town council meant facing vicious harassment. For example, the place the Hojos dumped their trash was a provisional dumping site established by the town council and the waste management department. Under the council agreement, only council members could use it. Ever since that day, the Hojo family quit the family council. Their trash bags were returned to their front door. Furthermore, all the bags were torn. On top of that, a sign went up on the hedge road near the Hojo family. It said, "Private road, no trespassing. Only council members permitted." A stubborn old man stood and guarded the road, saying that he would not let any of the Hojo family members pass through. Private road is private property open up to the public, so it just looks like a normal road. However, as private property, the owner can forbid anyone else to pass through whenever they like. More and more, the village piled on vicious harassment. The fear of antagonism spread through the entire village, and people became afraid that if they supported the Hojo family, they'd go through the same thing. This has made the Hojo family even more isolated. The grown-ups haven't told their kids about what's going on, and Satoko isn't harassed in any way at school. But it wasn't hard to imagine she probably spent her days feeling so anxious she could hardly breathe. Even the woman whispering in here aren't saying anything directly to Satoko, but it's not like she doesn't notice their muttering and the cold stares. The finale's a big deal and all. Makes sense. Are you like... What are you waiting for, though? I don't know. I'm reading for whatever happens in it. But, like, what is you being ready? Is, like, that ready mentally? Is that, like, waiting for things in your life to, like, reach a certain point to read it? Is that, like, waiting for, you know, like, maybe you have, like, a nice meal or something? Like, what would you say is you being ready for it? When did this village become so cold towards her? As her best friend, it's very sad for me. Because I know, for example, you said you didn't want to, like, just, like, mentally? Okay. Satoko shopping experience is nothing like mine. Like, you just, like, need to go into it and be like, okay, I want to sit down and read through chapter 8. Or episode 8. I keep saying chapter, no matter what, but yeah, whatever. When I say hello or to buy things, I usually get treats or a discount, but that doesn't happen to Satoko. On the contrary, she served last on purpose, and sometimes shop owners even pretend they don't hear her. Obviously, people don't want to have anything to do with her. Satoko had been weaving through the housewives, crowding the shop, telling the fishmonger what she wanted, but she kept getting ignored. She decided to keep her smile and pretend like she doesn't mind, but I know. It was far too painful for her to endure. At that point, Satoko dropped her coins on the ground. Maybe her finger got stuck or something when she was trying to put the change back in her wallet. I ran through the crowd to help her pick them up, but as I did, I noticed something. Satoko dropped a lot of coins and is struggling to pick up all of them. Nobody's helping her. It's not just that, it's almost like they're acting like they don't even see her there. Satoko isn't expecting anyone to help her since she's the one who dropped them. But there's so many people around. And not even one is trying to aid her. That reaction is all I needed to know to tell how hurt she is. Furthermore, when I started to help Satoko, other housewives started to pick up the coins too, as if it's a natural thing to do. They can only help if the shrine maiden of the Furude family does. If I didn't help, they would have disregarded her completely. And the fact that other people helped only because I did hurt Satoko even more. I grabbed the coins from the housewives without thanking them. I'd rather spit at them than do that. If she didn't thank them, people would talk about that too. Satoko forced out her words of gratitude. The housewives looked down at her with blank expressions. I can't stand this. I can't stand what Satoko's going through right now. I grabbed Satoko's arm and pulled her away. I was frustrated, sad, and bitter. What has Satoko done? Reality is just too cruel. Everyone loves me, but can I share that love with Satoko? Satoko must be wondering why people treat me so differently. I shouldn't come shopping with her. Or rather, I should have done her shopping instead. Satoko. I wanted to at least ease her pain a little bit, so I pulled out the strawberry milk candy that I just received. But Satoko refused to take it. My hand froze. She saw me getting this candy. Satoko turned her back on me and kept walking. Without even saying goodbye, She continued on to her house with the shopping bags in her hand. I only wanted to ease her pain, but I ended up rubbing salt in her wound. How can I call myself her best friend? If I could, I would have crushed the candy right there. Okay. So tomorrow, there's a couple things I might need. Right? We know for a fact that we now have the strawberry milk candy, right? So over here, Mion Sonozaki, you have strawberry milk candy, so we can do that next. So next time, these are the ones I need to remember to do. Mion Sonozaki, well, obviously Satsuko Hojo. We don't have a red capsule. We don't have this. We don't have this. We don't have this. We don't have this. No need for this. I mean, we can't do that either. When I do this, so yes, so not this. So right now, it's just these two, right? Rock candy as a treat is required. I don't know what that is. We just have the strawberry milk candy, right? Yeah. Awareness of his sins. Oh, okay. This is the shopping trip. We don't have the... No, I didn't mean to click that. Oh. I still don't want to click that, though. Okay. I think we'll start out from here then next time. Is what I want to do. Because it is getting... like, you know, I'm getting a bit fatigued. And it is reaching the part of stream where... yeah. I mean... where ads are going to hit soon. So, yeah. That will be it from me then for today. Very interesting. I was not expecting, like, gameplay, but, you know, there it is. It's like looking and seeing, making sure you're connecting up the right things. But yeah. Okay. Thank you for everyone who stopped by the stream. I appreciate it. I'll be back with more Higurashi When They Cry tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. We might not finish this tomorrow, but I feel like when I do my, like, whatever extra stream, I think that's probably going to be the time that